Hey y'all, it's Colleen from Sunrise to Sunset RV. I am going to do a series of mostly as unedited as possible videos for the next few days because today is my 1 year anniversary for buying Serenity. So I'm going to start out with I've got a whole. Let me just turn it around so you can see. So on my computer, I'm going to be doing some reading, but I'm starting with this first video, and I'm going to be talking about things I wish I had known before I hit the road. And then the other things that I'm going to have, the other subjects that I'm going to talk about are my top 10 places I visited and things I did, the best and worst things about living in an RV, things to look for when buying an RV, how I find places to camp and park, and I'm going to do a tour of Serenity. So for right now, this is the first video, and it is things I wish I had known before I hit the road. So let's get started. First of all, I would have to say that the small amount of space that I have in this RV, like I knew that it was going to be tight. I knew that. And I did buy a smaller rig than most of the ones that I had been looking at before. But yeah, there's just very little space. Serenity is a 21-foot Coachman Starflight camper van. And I'm living in her with two 45-pound doggos, Gus and Trana. But in addition to working from my rig, not only do I live in it, I also work from it. I also have musical instruments and all the ephemera that come with that. I have my arts and crafts that I do. And then I've got, of course, my clothes. I've got my cooking utensils. I've got my tools for work, so my computer and stuff like that. I've got the dog stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff to fit in a small RV. And on top of that, there's all the things that you need to make life comfortable. So things like the electrical panels, the wiring and the batteries, those take up space. The water tanks and pump, the refrigerator, the microwave, which I mostly use for storage, but I do use it every once in a while. The heater, the water heater, the toilet, all those things take up space. So, I mean, yeah, it's tight. It's tight. And then I have my backup things. So, for example, if something breaks, I always want to have a backup plan for it. So I've got an extra cooktop. I've got an extra way to go to the bathroom. I've got extra ways to get water. So all those things take up space. So yeah, I do wish that I had known how little space I would have. I might have gone with something a little bit bigger, but after being in Serenity for a year, I am starting to get used to the small amount of space that I've got. So that's number one. Number two, how little food I need to buy at a time. I always buy too much food when I go shopping. I've got 3 overhead cabinets and a pantry that are filled with food. Better storage options would probably help with that. So, for example, other people's Starflights have a spice rack that's over the kitchen sink, and the previous owners took that out and put in a backing. So I think that something like that would probably help, because one of my cabinets is just spices. I like spices. So I think one of the things that I'm probably going to do is get myself another, like some kind of a spice rack to hold all of those things, to give me back one of my cabinets. But I do need to buy less food. Like, I don't need to carry as much as I carry. I can usually go about a month, and I don't even eat out that often. It's rare that I eat out. I cook probably 90%, if not 95% of my meals. But I still always have 3 weeks to a month's worth of food in here at any given time. It is nice for when I am camping with friends. I can, definitely cook for others, and that's fun. I enjoy doing that, but I could probably not get as much. So I think things like figuring out my meals, doing a meal plan ahead of time, so that I don't buy so much. And I also get bored of eating the same things all the time. So that's part of it. So anyway, I think if I better plan my meals, and if I come up with a better way to store things, get a spice rack and stuff like that, I think that will definitely help. But yeah, I didn't realize how little food I really needed to have. Okay, so next, how tired I would get. Number 3 is how tired I would get moving. As much as I love moving, I do love moving from place to place. Holy hell, how tired I am after I move. Moving day is exhausting. So let's see. If you're smart, and I learned this the hard way, but prepare as much as you can the day before. So, in other words, make sure that you have all of your dishes are clean and put away, all your utensils and everything are put away. You have as much of your stuff that you've taken out, because when you're sitting in one place for 14 days, you get comfortable, so you have things out. So the day before, making sure that you get everything stowed away properly. Make sure that morning that you get, everything shut and turned off, and cabinets are closed and things are unplugged and all that stuff. But yeah, depending on how far you're moving, you might want to make sure that you have, a quick and easy breakfast in the morning, a quick and easy lunch, or pre-make your lunch for the next day. If you're only moving a little ways, you might not need that, but if you're moving pretty far, you might want to go ahead and have your lunch made, have dinners, that are easy, like sandwich stuff like that. So yeah, there is a lot to do when you move on moving day. So a lot of times you have to dump your black and gray tanks, you have to refill your fresh water tank, you have to fill your gas tank, you might have to fill your propane tank, or at least top it off. You have to dump your trash. You have to go shopping. Again, yes, I know I buy too much food, but there are things that you might have to buy. You might have to get toilet paper, paper towels, stuff like that. And then you have to move to your next spot, and you need to get settled, and preferably before dark. So it's a lot of work. And again, depending on how far you're driving, just driving can be exhausting, being out on the road with the people and the other cars and stuff. So I wish I had known how exhausting that is. I'm learning. Number 4, how short the distances and the time that I would be traveling. So when I first got on the road, I was going from here in Georgia I went up to visit the parents of a friend, so some friends of mine, and then I was going out to the van build in Parker, Arizona. So by the time I left, I was on a mission to get to Flagstaff, pick up the solar panels and all of the things that I needed for the van build to have my solar installed, and then get to the van build before too long. I didn't want to get there too late because I wanted to make sure I was there early enough to get my work done. So I was really pushing it. I was going 500, 600, 700, 800 miles a day. And it was exhausting. By the time I got to the van build, I was already tired because just all the things that I had done just before I left. I was sad because I had just left my son for the first time. I had never been out to Arizona before, and I really kind of wanted to take my time. So I was bummed out that I didn't take my time and I didn't get to do Route 66 the way I wanted to. There were a lot of things before I went. But one of the things that I learned was driving that much in that many days, those few days was too much for me. And by the time I got to the van build, I was exhausted and I was weepy and oh yeah, I was a mess. But I have learned that I get tired going too far in a day. So for example, another example, today I was in North Carolina, in Boonville, North Carolina, and I drove back to Woodstock, Georgia, and I wanted to go through Nantahala because it's pretty, but that was a very long way. So I was on the road for 7 hours, which I try not to do anymore. Like I learned that what's best for me is probably plan on 4 hours, so around 300 miles, and know that it's really going to take probably 6 hours because I need to stop and let the dogs walk. I need to take a break myself. I might need to get gas. I probably have to get gas. Stuff like that. So I have learned to take it slower. Still not slow enough sometimes, but I've learned. But yeah, I never knew that it would be that exhausting driving that far. Okay, next, number 5. One of the things I wish I had known was how horrible other drivers are to RVs on the road. It's sad. So I have now made sure that I have told my son, make sure that if you see an RV on the road, do not speed up to try to get out on the road before they get there. Don't tailgate them. Don't cut them off. Things like that. Just people are horrible out on the road. And I get it. You don't want a big RV in front of you. I understand. But oh my goodness, how horrible they are. Flashing lights, cutting you off, slamming on their brakes in front of you. Lots of people not following the merge laws or the zipper laws, whatever you want to call them. They speed up to try to keep you from getting in front of them on the highway when you're trying to merge onto the highway. Also, if I'm trying to change lanes, don't try to cut me off and get in front of me when I'm trying to go, especially if I'm trying to move over to the right. Moving over to the right is hard in any vehicle. It's really hard in something this big. And I put on my signal. I usually put on my signal well before I need to move over, unless, of course, I'm not given enough warning. But for the most part, if I'm not given enough warning, a lot of times I'll go past where I was supposed to turn and turn around and come back. But if I'm given enough time and I've got my signal on in plenty of time, which is usually a block or two, and somebody goes around me, I'm looking at you, LA. Y'all suck. Don't cut me off just because you don't want to get stuck behind me. That's dangerous. I can hit you. I don't want to. I'm going to try not to. But if you try to scoop me because you don't want me to get in front of you, we might have a problem. So, be kind. Just be kind. Let people in. It's going to slow you down, a few seconds maybe? Come on. So yeah, I wish I had known how horrible the drivers were. Let's see. Number 6. I wish I had known how many repairs I would be making. I knew I was buying an older rig. Um, Buying an older rig, buying a pre-loved rig, means that you are buying a combination used car and pre-loved house all in one. So I know there's going to be things that I'm going to need to do. And I will go over this more in my episode about what to look for when buying a rig. But I do wish I had known how many repairs I was going to have to make. And I'm still making repairs. I still have some things that I need to repair. I even have, sorry, I've got a dog here, I think. I even have a repair that I made in July that I'm going to have to redo because I don't know what is going on, but something has either shifted or is shifting, or just the fact that I need to replumb all of my water lines. My water intake has broken a second time, so I'm going to have to replace that. And I replaced my water pump, and my water pump is acting up now on the 12 volt. It works fine when I'm plugged in, but for some reason on 12 volt, might be a fuse, I don't know. But I did not know how many repairs I was going to have to make. I didn't realize how many repairs I was going to have to make on the driving part as well, like the engine, like my brakes going out. I didn't realize I was going to have to do that because I knew it had new brakes. So yeah, I did not realize how many repairs I was going to have to make. But it's part of living on the road. I'd probably have to do the same thing living in a house. So, I mean, before I moved out of the house, we had to repair the roof. We had to repair the plumbing. You have to make repairs. Let's see. Number 7. I did not realize how quickly I would make significant friends being on the road. And speaking with one of those friends yesterday, we realized that it's because we live so closely together when we are out there. Our living rooms are all one big space, and our fire pits, when we're sitting around the campfires, we're doing a lot of talking. We're learning a lot about each other, and I have made some excellent, beautiful friends when I've been out on the road. And as an introvert, I'm surprised I've made as many friends as I have. But I'm happy that I have, and I'm happy that we are as close as we are. We call each other, we text each other a lot, and I miss them. And I'm going to miss them this winter because I'm not going to be going back out to the desert this winter. I'm going to stay on the East Coast. So yeah, it's amazing how close we got in such a short amount of time. Number 8. I wish I had known how much damn drama there was out on the road. And I thought that, most of the drama that I saw on some of the YouTube channels that are out there, I thought most of it was fabricated, but there's drama. There's drama. I don't like drama. I am drama averse, so I do try to stay away from it. I try to keep it off of my channel. So, but one of the nice things, though, is that if you see drama and you don't want to be a part of it, you can move. You don't have to stick around. You can pack your stuff up and move to the next spot, move, a mile away, move around the corner, whatever you want to do. You do not have to stick around. So, I have learned now hopefully I've learned to spot drama a little bit faster, and I am not planning on sticking around it very much. So, but yeah, I wish I had realized how much of the drama actually is out there. So now I know. Number 9. I wish I had realized how much there actually is to see out there. I knew I wanted to see everything. That's what I always say, I want to see it all. I would love to do it all. I know I can't do it all. I know I can't see it all, but I would love to see as much as I possibly can. But one of the things that I need to remember to do is take my time and spend more time in an area and try to see more of it. I'm a little bit of a plantser, so I kind of plan a little bit and I fly by the seat of my pants a little bit. Sometimes I will thoroughly research where I'm going so I can have spots to see along the way. For example, if you saw the Temple of Isis video that I did, I found that on a roadside attractions website, and I specifically went there to see it. So, I do that sometimes. I find places to stop along the way, and that way I'm able to kind of enjoy the area a little bit more as I'm going through. But a lot of times I just fly by the seat of my pants, and one of the problems with doing that is I don't necessarily stop to see anything. So I'll be driving by and I'll see something, and it's kind of a snap decision. Do I want to stop and take the time to go back and look at it, or do I want to keep going? And most of the time I end up just saying, you know what, I'm just going to keep going. I'll either have a chance to see it another time, or there will be something else up the road that I'll get to see. And sometimes I regret that I don't stop and see it. So I wish I had realized how much there is out there that I want to see. And now I need to start planning a little bit more so that I can see those things. So yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Those are the top 9 things that I wish I had known before I got on the road. And I know those aren't really things that help you guys as far as, planning for yourselves. I mean, maybe it does. But, it's just kind of personal things that, I kind of wish I had known. I know some people are like, oh, I wish I had known how much money it would cost, or I wish I had known, whatever. But, yeah, those are kind of the things that I wish I had known before I got out on the road. So, anyway, if you know there are things that you wish you had known before you got on the road, share with me down in the comments below. If you haven't yet, if you could give me a like and hit that subscribe button, I'd appreciate it. And I will be back over the next few days with the rest of this series. Again, I'm going to try to do them as little editing as possible. I don't know that I'll do any editing. This might just all go up the way it is. But the next few things that I'm going to be talking about, and this is in no order. I have no idea which one I'm going to do tomorrow night. So this is going to be fun. Top 10 places I visited, things I did, best and worst things about living in an RV, which, maybe this things I wish I had known was best and worst things. No, it's not. I'll do a best and worst things about living in an RV. Things to look for when buying an RV, especially a used RV. How I find places to camp or park. And then hopefully I will have this cleaned up and I'll be in an area where I can do a tour. By the end of it, I've had a few people ask me to do a tour. So I will try to clean it up some and get someplace where I've got good lighting and I'm not on a hill, because right now I'm on a hill, so that I can do a nice little tour for you. So anyway, those are my my things I wish I had known before I hit the road. And happy anniversary to me and Serenity. And anyway, subscribe, like, comment, Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Mwah. Have a good one. Bye.